What's going on, everybody? As you can see, we're inside. Things are going to be a little bit different this week because it is Thanksgiving week. And so I am going to be hosting Thanksgiving this year. So I have got a ton of cooking, cleaning, the whole 9 yards. I've got to get all that done. So it's going to be a short week for me as far as making these videos. So we are going to do something a little bit different today. I've decided rather than just have this picture of the escape in my head and what I want it to look like, I'm going to go ahead and try my hardest to put pencil to paper and see if I can draw that out in a very crude manner, but just to give you guys an idea of exactly what it is that I am picturing in my head. Just like the great artists like Foose, Dave Kindig, Johnny Jalopy. All these guys do a very, very good job rendering with pencils, markers, all that stuff of the direction we're going to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, I have started with just a preliminary sketch of Ford Escape. Obviously, it's not super to scale or anything like that. It's just kind of a basic rendering just so I can have a shape ready to go. So one thing that we are going to do is we're going to do a solid axle swap. Rather than having independent suspension in the front, we're going to have a solid axle. So the plan is either to take a Jeep Cherokee or even possibly a Rubicon so that we have a locking differential. First thing is first, let's go ahead and just kind of get an idea of where we want the tires to be. Right now we've got this front bumper and it's, it creates a bit of an approach angle that, it's kind of low and all that stuff. I think that we can do better than this. And so what we're going to propose is that maybe we chop at this first line here. Let's go ahead and get rid of the bumper below that. Now that is going to actually do a couple things for us. One, it's going to increase our approach angle because we don't have so much dangling down over here. But two, that is going to let us move the axle from being back here, okay, to farther forward, which is where I would like to put it, right in this region here, okay? So that is really going to set our approach angle up so that it just, we can climb whatever we want to climb, while we're hunting, fishing, whatever, just having a good time. So let's go ahead and set that axle, there's a differential down there. Axle, obviously tires. Let's just draw some circles. Now, maybe you guys can help me down in the comments. I'm kind of thinking that I'd like to go 35s. I do want this to be a vehicle that's capable on the interstate, comfortable, I should say. I feel like a 35 is going to be a solid tire size, but let me know what you guys think. 37s, a little bit bigger, whatever it is. Let me know what you guys think. Just comment that down below. Tell me what would you do? Just kind of sketching out this tire. Obviously, these drawings are going to be really, really rudimentary, but that's okay because all I'm trying to do is just convey an idea. Not only for myself, but for you guys. I can kind of see this, kind of see it in my head the way I would like it to be. Yeah, see, I'm already kind of liking this new slim down version that we got here. Let me getting a lot of lines happening. Okay, so we got kind of a sidewall happening here. And I'm thinking I don't want to go above like 16, 17s, maybe an 18-inch wheel if absolutely necessary, but I don't want to go with 20s. I don't know. 20s, they look good on the road, but are they all that functional? I don't think so. Now, obviously, when we go to these axles, the reason why these wheels and tires were poking out farther is because when we swap to this axle, it's going to have a wider track width, which is the distance from one end of the axle or tire to the other. So that track width is going to be quite a bit wider than the stock Escape. Now, of course, when we get to where we're going, when we start actually fabbing this stuff in, we'll have a general understanding of what we want this to be like, the way it's going to set in, how many inches, yada yada yada, all that stuff. That's going to be TBD. That'll be to be determined. But we got the tires. Okay, so we have the solid axle up here. We got the tires mounted, and they're out because that track width has changed. Now we are also going to be putting a solid axle in the rear. That one, as far as fabrication goes, is going to be so much better and so much easier than doing the front. The front is going to be the tricky part because not only are we changing the type of suspension that it is, but we're also going to be changing the way that it steers and everything. We are going to have a steering gearbox mounted so that we can actually hook the steering up, with a track bar and drag link. We're going to have all of the steering, suspension, all those components mounted that way for a solid axle, not an independent suspension, which had a rack and pinion steering system on Escape when it came from the factory. So, we'll hide all that stuff. So obviously I want to keep this approach angle as good as possible, but I'm thinking that I want to come down with the front bumper. This bumper is going to be steel. Okay. And we're just gonna kind of shorten it up a little bit. It's going to be sharp, transitioning away from this wheel, but it will also hold a winch in this area. Okay, so kind of the factory area. We will build a mounting plate, all the good stuff to just kind of make that as solid as can be, while maintaining as much approach angle from the tires as we can. So that pretty much sets us up for the front end as it is. But one thing I would like to do, and I'm going to try to show this, I am going to be splitting the fenders probably right along this route and over here. Okay. And we are going to wide body these fenders. We are going to set them up so that they do come over the tire enough to keep it legal. Boy, I'm gonna have a hard time really kind of showing exactly what we're doing here. Let's there we go. Let's just keep that over just a touch, just a little bit. Okay, so we are going to decide that this crudely drawn sketch right here represents a little bit of a wide body on this Escape. Okay, so it's going to kind of jut out here. And I kind of like the idea of having a little bit of a gap back here, just to kind of show that wide fender. See, I don't even know if you'd really be able to see that from there, but anyway, so kind of a detail here, by the headlight and stuff, just to kind of really accentuate that wide look. We got the wider fenders, we've got the winch, We've got the solid axle. Do a little eraser housekeeping here. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure which side, if it's going to be a driver or passenger side front differential, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Just sketching right now, just sketching. Now, we are going to have coils, probably coilovers in the front. And to be honest with you, I might steal that front suspension from the Wrangler that we're going to take the parts off of, or the Cherokee, whichever one. They both have coil suspensions in the front, and we're going to maintain that with this one. Just, it'll give it a lot of ease of build, so the build will be a lot easier by using that stuff. Let's go ahead and extend this fender in the back. And now these axles in the back, they're already pretty far out, and so our departure angle is actually going to be really good. All right, so we're going to have that wider back end too. I mean, it's so overused, the talk of making everything Raptor style, yada yada yada. It's going to be me style. That's what this is going to be. So, if it looks Raptor-ish, that's not exactly what I'm going for. But I'm not going to complain if it kind of has some of those attributes. So boom, we got front wide body, rear wide body. We got the front and rear solid axle. I want it to be, it might be a little bit taller than this here, but I don't want it to be top heavy. I really would like this thing to be kind of low and squished, but still have plenty of room for travel. So these fenders here, they might even get really, really high. We don't know yet. Okay, all right. I like where I'm going with this. Obviously, I hope that I like where I'm going with this, since it's my plan here. But yeah, so just a big honking wheel well, so these can tuck nice and easy, and then just have a nice looking front end. I do want this to look, I want it to look like the factory could have made something like this. Obviously, the factory is never going to make a first gen Escape that is, super off-road capable, and thus far, there's been a couple of modified Escapes out there that I've seen online, but not very many. And so, we're going to try to do our best and make the Jagged Tin Garage Escape. I like the mirrors. Now, let me just tell you, the reason I went with an Escape for this build, my first car was a Suzuki Samurai, and I took it everywhere. That thing was small. It was easy to just kind of get in and out of places, just cruising around. It was just fan-freaking-tastic. I loved it. But, it was a little underpowered. My wants changed in high school, and, I switched to some cars and then some trucks and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I have been chasing that type of utility ever since. And the Escape, it actually, for me, it fits all the criteria that I had for another sport utility type 4-wheel drive 4x4. But, with a front wheel drive configuration, a little power transfer unit in the back going to a really weak rear differential and all that stuff, it was never designed to go the places I want to take it. So I'm making it so that I can take it where I want to go. We got this front end. It's kind of starting to look a little bit better, actually. I'm kind of happy with the way this is turning out, oddly enough. Maybe I'll do something right as far as this drawing goes. She's looking nice. All right. So there's that. I'm liking the way this front end's shaping up. This is going to be a type of overlanding rig. I want it to be able to go, and I want to be able to camp out of it and do all that stuff, because I love that kind of freedom. We're going to have a rack along top. Now I do have roof rails already, but those are going to get obviously changed out to a much more solid system. So let's go ahead and draw out our basket for the top. Now, like I said, when I opened up this video, you know, those designers that I mentioned, they are so far beyond anything that I could possibly render, you know, with my crude skill as far as drawing goes. But you know, hopefully, you know, we get something that looks like what I'm envisioning here. And it's helping me too to really come up with some plans as far as what I want and whether or not it's going to work. So there's a nice little rack, you know, nothing too obtrusive. This is going to be, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, that I want lights up here. Every vehicle that I have had lights up on the roof have put a glare onto the hood that has been awful. Okay, so when you're driving, you got that glare just, you know, blinding you. It's just not really all that helpful. Now, I can put the lights up there, and then I can do a matte on the hood, a matte color on the hood, and that will keep some of that reflection from bouncing back into the driver's seat here. And that is something I may look into. I might do that, because you do get a lot of benefits from being able to have lights up here at a high, you know, vantage point. And so, you know what? Let's just go ahead. Let's render them out. You know, just a couple round guys up here, maybe 4 of them. Okay, we'll be running all these with relays, you know. We'll wire these in appropriately, weatherproof connectors, you know, actual harness, good stuff. All right, we got those. We do need a ditch light over here, you know, on the sides. It's just so handy. You know, it really helps you to be able to see what's beside you. You know, it really, you get these angled down and they really show the sides of the road that you really need. Okay, so yeah, we will definitely be mounting some ditch lights. We're probably going to have to make some custom stuff, and you know what? That's okay, because that's what we do. We could put a couple of windshield savers up here, the steel cables that go from the rack all the way down to the front of the hood. Put a mount for those, and what that will do, hopefully, is to keep, you know, limbs and stuff from smacking that windshield and breaking it. So we could do that, you know. And of course, we'll make these mounting tabs over far enough so that we can actually still open the hood and access all those things without, you know, having to mess with anything here. But so far, you know, guys, I'm really liking the way this is taking shape. I think she's looking kind of like I had pictured in my mind. And so I'm excited for that, because it's going to help you guys see what I see. So we got that, got our lights. I don't think that it would hurt to have a couple of fog lights down here. Driving in snow, okay, we're from Idaho. So driving on the interstate or anywhere in snow, you cannot have your roof lights on, because they will just completely white everything out and all you will see is snowflakes. Your high beams, no. That's not what they're for. They will do the same thing these will. Just completely white out your entire view and you can't see anything. The best chance that you have is actually your fog lights. You turn on brights in those situations, you're just going to get all the glare back. The fog lights are actually aimed down, you know, toward the lines on the road, or down toward, you know, the sides a little bit, so that you can actually see where the road is. And that's the most important thing. I want to build a ladder on the back so that I can access the roof rack. But this does, of course, have, not only does it have a hatch that opens in the back, but it also has a glass that can open from the back. So we'll have to create a setup that may not link directly to that, but it might hook to the hatch itself and maintain itself on that, and then be able to split in the middle, you know, with just a simple roll pin would actually work out really well for that. But it could hinge up, if I just wanted to open the glass and not the whole hatch. So that's something we'll design. I think that'll look pretty sharp. What else? Okay, actually, you know what? We're to the point now where I think we should probably talk about color. Now, I served in Iraq, and so I'm kind of partial to like a desert tan. I love desert tan. However, I'm also a big fan of like a lime green, a bright orange. I like what I like. I think that this vehicle in this shape would look good in any of those colors. And so comment down below, right down here. Comment, tell me what you think. What colors would you put on here? Would you do a camouflage wrap, of some sort? Like maybe even either a desert or a snow camouflage. Snow camo would probably look pretty cool on it, to be honest. But comment down below. Tell me what you think would look the best on this. But for now, I do want to, I know this video has been different, but I hope you can see why I've decided to go with this rig so that we can do something it's going to be so awesome. So stinking awesome, and I am so excited to do it. I've actually had a name for this rig that I have thought about using for this setup, okay? I've gone through all kinds of different iterations, but the name that has always stuck with me is Nomad, okay? It's off, it's capable of being out by itself, on its own, nothing's tying it down. It can go where it wants to go anytime. And so this we are going to name Project Nomad. And so from here on out, we will no longer call it the Escape. But then again, if you guys have any suggestions, comment that down below too. If you don't like the name Project Nomad, tell me what you would name this thing. Here we go. We have a basic concept drawing of what I want this rig to look like. So tell me what you guys think. Obviously, I need those comments. Give me your take. What would you do? Tire size. Tell me what tire size you'd use. Color, name, different types of things. Let me know. All right. So there you have it, guys. That's going to wrap up this week's episode. I know it was a little bit different. I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway, and I hope you guys see the vision that we're going to try to make a reality with this build. So I appreciate you guys coming. I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe so we can grow this channel together. Thank you guys again so much for being a part of this. We're going to continue on the journey next week. We're going to get back into the fabrication. So we have plenty of cutting, plenty of grinding, plenty of welding, and all that good stuff to go so that we can build that transmission tunnel, fit the transfer case, and do all that stuff. So we will see you next week. You guys take care, and we'll see you later.